Reaching out.
What is up? I'm Full Metal Lifter, this is Metal Weightlifting, and today we're talking about none other than the Richmond Leather Weightlifting Wraps. For those of you who don't know, Jared Richmond is the owner of Richmond Weightlifting, and the reason he developed these wraps right here is because he broke his scaphoid something like 5 years ago. You can't ask for much of a better origin story than that. Basically, he couldn't find any wraps that would work for his wrist. They wouldn't support him enough to where he could lift pain-free, and because he couldn't find any, he developed his own. I think that's pretty cool. The reason I had gotten the R1s in the first place is because I wanted to review these in the Ultimate Wrist Wrap review. Unfortunately, these are no longer the flagship to Richmond Weightlifting. The R2s are, so I bought the R2s. I wore these all the way up to AO Finals though. And this was my first switch from fabric to leather wrist wraps ever. I've never used wrist wraps that are leather before this. I always thought it was kind of a pinky out fancy type thing, and on top of that, I was always hesitant because I didn't want to lose any mobility or flexibility. So to be honest, there's not too many differences between the R1 and R2, but the changes that there are very significant. Jared used a different leather for the R1s than he did the R2. He used a much softer leather for the R1s, which provides a lot of comfort, but it sacrifices a little bit on the support that you get. With the R2s being a much harder leather, you get a lot more support. Maybe not as much comfort, to be honest. I don't really notice it, but that's worth noting and being said. On top of that, because you get a harder leather, he's able to make a lot more holes for sizing, and they're a lot closer. And because you're able to get such a better fit for the R2s than you were able to with the R1s, that just gives you even more support in that regard. Those are the major changes. As for the price, the R1s are $39.99 and the R2s are $49.99. Given that it's a harder leather, higher quality leather that provides more support, gives you better sizing options, I think the $10 is a completely reasonable increase in price. If you have the original Stealth Wraps, I would recommend giving the R2s a shot. The better sizing really helps, and also just how much support it gives is definitely worth it. So before I end the comparison video of the R1 and the R2, here is a video on how to put on your Richmond weightlifting wraps if you got them. So real quick, I'm gonna walk you guys through how to use these wrist straps, how to put them on. Before getting too far into it. So you see how it's in this little slot right here? We're gonna just pull that out. All right, this is how they'll come in the package. It's just like this, which may be a little bit intimidating at first, but all you have to do, take these dangly things, put them into these hole things, tighten them a little bit, right? And I always do it with these buckles facing the opposite side of my wrist, just like this. And then you're gonna wanna tighten them both at the same time. You're gonna wrap one around at a time, put it through this buckle. Now do the other one. If I could get it, there we go. So now that you got both of them, both of these into there, you're gonna pull and twist, just like that, pull and twist. You're gonna lock in one of them, slide it through the hoop, lock in the other one, and slide it through the hoop again, right? The reason why I put the buckles on the outside of my wrist is so that way the flaps, or what's left of them, don't go in towards me. That way whenever I do a clean or anything like that, it's not gonna whack me in the face, although I've never had that happen, although I've only done it this way because this is what my preference is. And that is how you put on the Richmond Weightlifting Wraps. Thanks for tuning in to yet another review. If you want to check out the Ultimate Wrist Wrap review, stay tuned, that's going to be coming up. While you're waiting, why don't you check out some of my other reviews? Until then, I'll see you next time.